Willow County had been Hannah's home for the past 5 years. She had left the city after the death of Rob, the man she'd married for 3 years. She couldn't mourn him after she discovered he used their house as a collateral for the loan it took to buy a house for his mistress and the son they had together. She decided to move away from gossips, fake sympathy from friends and family, especially her best friend Kiara. She'd heard Kiara made mockery of her on phone with someone she had no idea about. After Rose's burial, she packed her bags and without informing anyone, she left for Willow County and moved to the house she bought from the owner, Mrs. Gardner, through a legitimate online real estate agent, partners.Can. Mrs. Gardner, a widow, was a wonderful old lady. She was the first person to welcome Hannah with pancake and waffles. She saw Hannah and hugged her like she knew her struggles and problems. Hannah remembered crying on her shoulders that day. Since then, they became good friends. The old lady introduced Hannah to the florist group, where she learned about different types of flowers and their selling strategies. She became a florist in no time. Within the space of 2 months, she had gained community love. Everyone in Willow became her friend, and Willow became her perfect home. Mrs. Garner told Hannah about her 75th birthday celebration organized by her family. Her 3 children and their families would arrive the following day. She had not met any of them since she moved there because they preferred to celebrate the holidays in the city and invited their mother, who sometimes spent weeks with her kids. Since it was the period of the Willow Annual Festival, they would be spending more time with her. Hannah happily volunteered to decorate the event with her old friend's favorite lavender flower. The sound of cars and noises of children woke Hannah from her siesta the following afternoon. She smoothed a curtain and saw men and women carrying their luggage from their cars while the kids ran towards Mrs. Gardner's house. She instantly knew those were her friend's family she told her about. Smiling, she started to welcome them with some snack. Nick sat looking at his niece and nephews running around and wondered the daily lives of Scott, Debs, and Joan. Scott and Debs had been married for 6 years. He had always admired their love, even with the presence of their kids, Zach and little Sarah. They still behaved like little children who just found the secret ingredients of ice cream. Nick knew that he wasn't ready for this marriage stuff, even though they'd preached it to him several times, even Joan, his elder sister. Joan had raised David alone after Jake left when the boy was just 6 months old. He saw how Joan worked 3 jobs to give the boy a better life. He was aware that after their mother's birthday celebration, he would become the next celebrant with meetings on his marital status. He had planned to tell them he wasn't ready, at least not in the next 5 years. The knock on the door put his thoughts and plans on hold. He moved towards it, pulled the knob, opened, and lost the track of time. "Hi, I'm Hannah, Mrs. Gardner's friend," she said smilingly. "Oh, Hannah, there you are. Come on in," Mrs. Gardner said, loud enough to jolt Nick back. Nick quickly stepped aside for Hannah to enter. "Hannah, meet my son Scott and his beautiful wife Debs. Joan, my daughter, and Nick, the last and only bachelor in my life," Mrs. Gardner said jokingly. "Nice to meet you all," Hannah responded with a smile. She informed her children that Hannah was the new owner of the property. She was also a best friend and confidant. This compliment made Hannah blush and smiled beautifully at the old woman. As Hannah handed over the freshly baked cookies to Joan, Nick couldn't get his eyes off her. He was captivated by her smile and how she related with everyone, especially the kids who couldn't stop dragging her to join their silly games. He knew his mom sold the property inherited from her father to someone, but wasn't aware it was to a beautiful woman he just got introduced to. She also made one of the best cookies after his mom, though. No one can beat Sarah Gardner in baking. "I would like to take my leave now. It was nice meeting all of you," Hannah said as she stood up from the couch. "No, you can't. Dinner is ready. Please join us," Joan pleaded. Hannah wanted to resist, but little Sarah, who was named after her granny, held her hand tight as a sign of plea. "Okay, I'd love to. Thank you," Hannah replied. Dinner went well. Everyone had so much to say about Granny Sarah Gardner. Anna felt like a member of the family. She smiled at their jokes and cuddled little Sarah, who wouldn't leave her side. I think little Sarah would love you to be a full member of the family, Anna, Debs jokingly said. The statement made Anna fought a tear and quickly replaced it with a smile. She had always wanted to have kids, but Rob, before his death, had suggested they hold on for a few years before starting a family. Unknown to her, he was already a father and a cheat. I would really love to have Anna as my daughter-in-law, just as I have Debs, Mrs. Gardner said. Everywhere became silent, with Debs, Spot, and Joanne looking at Nick, who kept mumbling his food as if he was deaf to the conversation. Anna, who tried to look unembarrassed, quickly told the old woman that she was already her daughter. She informed everyone of how a great help the woman was to her when she first moved to Willow. Looking at her, she thanked her once again, and the old lady squeezed her hand gently. That night, Anna couldn't stop thinking about Nick. She'd noticed how he looked at her but never spoke to her after his mother introduced her to everyone. She wondered if he knew her from the city or heard something about her. She'd noticed his fine features and broad shoulders when he lifted David during one of the games. She clapped herself back and wondered why she was thinking about him so much. The knock on her door woke her up. Her tired eyes shined brightly when she opened the door and saw little Sarah and Nick. "Anna, good morning," the little angel said with excitement. Anna responded sweetly before looking up to Nick. "Oh, hi, good morning." Sarah insisted she wants to be the first person you see this morning and asked that I bring her here, Nick said in a rush. He knew his siblings had set him up using little Sarah, whom he can't say no to. Surprisingly, he liked this kind of setup. Looking at Anna this morning, she looked more beautiful than the previous day. Or maybe his thought was juggling at her sight. "No problem, come on in," she said, lifting up the little girl. She was not just beautiful, but her taste was top-notch. Nick wondered if she was once a rich lady, because everything in her house screamed luxury, even though she tried to downplay herself. Anna offered him a cup of coffee, which he accepted. "I really didn't say much yesterday, but I want to thank you for taking care of Mom. She was always speaking highly of you whenever she visited. She loved everyone that loves Willow. Maybe because she'd lived here all her life. I guess she's attached to this place." "Yes, she is. I am more grateful to have her. I met her when I needed someone, and she took me not like a buyer, but like a daughter. She means so much to me," Anna responded. Sarah tugged Anna's crown for attention. She lifted and placed the little angel on her lap. They spoke for a while, and both stood up when he said to leave, not without asking Anna to join him for a walk to Willow Community Center the following day, which she agreed to. Scott and Joan gave a silent cough when Nick walked in. He knew what they wanted, but he wasn't going to give them the pleasure. "Nosy peeps," he murmured. Mrs. Gardner walked in, looked at her son, gave a chuckle and sat on her chair, grabbing her yarn and knitting pins. "Alright, I asked her to take a walk with me to the community center tomorrow," he finally said. "Is that like asking her on a date?" Deb asked her brother-in-law. No date, just a friendly walk, that's all," he defended. Anna struggled with her outfit. She couldn't understand why a simple walk could cause her so much anxiety. Was it because it had been long she had a man in her life? She tried to take a deep breath and look at her dresses again. Finally, she picked a flowering gown and walked hurriedly towards the bathroom, as Nick would be there anytime soon. Nick stood at Anna's doorstep with a bouquet of flowers, which his mom had given him from her garden. He took a deep breath and knocked gently at her door. She opened the door, and Nick saw a world where only him and Hannah were smiling at each other. "Nick, are you okay? Am I looking bad?" Anna asked, looking confused. No. I'm sorry, Hannah. You look very beautiful. This is for you," Nick said hurriedly and handed her the flowers. "Oh, thank you." She collected the beautiful bouquet and quickly excused herself to place the rose flowers inside the water vase. "I am ready. Let's go," she said. The community center was a 15-minute walk from her house. Spoke and laughed at Nicky's silly jokes. They visited several places in the center. They spoke about everything and even their relationships. I am sorry, Hannah, but your husband, even in death, is a jerk. He shouldn't have left you in the dark. You deserve better, Nick said sincerely, which Anna nodded in affirmation. When Laura cheated on me with her co-worker, she confessed it to me. Even though I forgave her, I knew she wouldn't stop when I saw the raunchy pictures she sent to him, even though she claimed I am the love of her life. Can you imagine, Anna? He laughed, but Anna could see the hurt in his eyes. That evening, as they walked closer to her house, he thanked her for the work and gently placed a smooth kiss on her cheek at the doorstep. Mrs. Gardner's birthday was an event in Willows County. Everyone was present to celebrate the kind-hearted old lady. There was so much to eat and drink. Anna, with the Willow ladies, assisted the children to make the party a success. She would smile when her eyes locked with Nick's. Their friendship was the news in Willow County. They had visited popular Willow Market together. They danced together like a couple at the festival. Everyone wanted to know if what they had was more than friendship. Everyone in Willow, including Nick's family. It had been 2 weeks since Miss Gardner's birthday and the Willow Annual Festival. Her children were packing their bags to return to the city. Anna knew this day would come, even though she wished it wouldn't. For the past few days, she had tried to fight her feelings for Nick and kept telling herself that they've just met and doesn't know much about themselves. She had been in a disappointing long relationship, and a short one might end in disaster. Nick had found it difficult to pack his bags. A few weeks back, he wouldn't even think of staying long in Willow, talk more of thinking about a lady, but here he was finding the county more and more interesting. He couldn't stop thinking about Hannah. He doesn't know what he felt for her, but he certainly loved the feeling. His mom has asked him for the uptime time if he was still going to the city, and surprisingly, he couldn't give a response. He looked at his unpacked bag and fell hard on the bed. "Where are you going, Uncle Nick?" Little Sarah asked. If you are going to Hannah's house, she isn't there," Debs cut in. "She had gone to the place you loved most in Willow Community, Nicholas," his mother said. "Just like you, she goes there to unburden the heaviness in her mind." With a "Thank you, Mama," look, Nick dashed out of the house. Last time Nick visited the place, he was leaving Willow for college, which was 15 years ago. He remembered to have expressed his fear and hope that day. He remembered he said he wished to have someone to love the place just as he does. He smiled happily as he ran towards Willow River. Anna sat on one of the rocks and looked into the river. This had been a silent place since she discovered it 5 years ago. She had yelled out her anger and cried deeply to the river the first time she came to Willow County. No one, except Mrs. Gardner, knew how precious this place was to her. The old lady had told her she had someone who loved this place also. "I never knew you loved this place like I do, Hannah," the familiar voice behind her said. She looked back to see Nick smiling behind her. She stood up and watched him walk towards her. The person Mrs. Gardner said loved this place was Nick, she thought with a smile, and moved closer to him. Nick held her hands in his and looked deep into her eyes. "Hannah, I tried packing my bags but couldn't. Something held me back, and that is my feeling for you. I know we barely know each other and have so much hurt in our hearts, but I believe we both can heal each other with love. I'm sorry if this sounds so fast, but I love you, Hannah. I can't get you off my mind." Anna looked at the man in front of her and saw love in his eyes. Even though she had her fears, she was willing to heal in his arms because she had fallen in love with him. "I believe everything you say, Nick, and I love you too," she finally said. They hugged, and when they kissed, the Willow River bubbled, the birds on the tree chirped sweetly, and the sun shone brightly on the Willow River, giving a welcome, a new dawn of love.